Wow, what an experience. Babylon is the latest movie by Damien Chazelle. It's yet another love letter to Hollywood. This one chronicling kind of the more insane and amoral kind. You got Brad Pitt, you got Margot Robbie, you got Diego Calva, and I haven't seen him before, but he was pretty good in this. Man, this movie, it's an insane movie. Okay, let's talk about some of the good things. Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Diego Calva, they're all fantastic. This is one of my favorite Brad Pitt performances I've seen in a long time. I think that he is probably the highlight of this movie for me because I really enjoy his character, his whole arc with where his character's going in life. He's like the guy. He's the actor. He's the Brad Pitt of his day, and he's aging out of Hollywood, and he's really struggling with that. It's sad, it's very heartbreaking, and it is a timeless story. I thought it was fantastic. I thought this was a really good role for Margot Robbie too. She doesn't play this kind of character often, and again, she's fantastic. She could get an Oscar nom. She should get the Oscar nom. I thought she was really good in this. Diego Calva is definitely the main character of this story, and we do jump around a lot. His character was cool too. He's kind of our audience view, our window into this crazy, chaotic world of old school Hollywood. This is not the kind of movie you want to watch with like your parents or anything like that. Lots of nudity, lots of drugs. I understand why it's in the movie to kind of portray that just insane, that party lifestyle, just how reckless they were back then. But sometimes it might be a little too excessive. A lot more comedy than Chazelle's past movies. Some of it hits really well. Some of it didn't really work for me. I'm not one for like the poop jokes and stuff like that, and there are some of those in here, and again, maybe you'll think that's really funny, just doesn't really work for me. The film is getting a lot of mixed opinions, mixed reactions, and I totally get why, because again, I think Chazelle takes a lot of risks in this movie, and first of all, I really respect that. He's had a great formula going, these two dramatic stories with La La Land and Whiplash based off of just one solid dynamic, and really just hammering that dynamic down and getting it to the point where it's just so well done. It's just beautiful. And he could have kept going along that track because it has been working incredibly well for him, but he decided to not play it safe, and I really admire that. But what's consistent with this movie that is there with the last two films is he's just such a good director. The film's shot really well, the lighting is awesome, just the editing is really good. On a technical level, I'd say it's just as good as Chazelle's past two films. Justin Horowitz, who's like been the MVP of these Damien Chazelle movies, he just delivers another fantastic score. They just complement the movie and the characters so well. You really attach these themes to these characters, and it just hammers certain ideas and moments home just way better than a lot of movies do. Like the theme around Nelly, it's been in my head. It's fantastic, and it leads to some awesome moments. The movie has some crazy high highs. There are moments in this movie that are as good as all of Chazelle's past movies. There's one scene at the end in particular with Brad Pitt's character, one of my favorite scenes of the whole year. But unfortunately, this movie it's very long. It's like 3 hours, and unlike a lot of the other long movies we've been getting lately, it's kind of all over the place. I feel like just in general, I would describe the movie as that. To me, it just all felt like a lot. Just the spectacle of this movie and the wow factor can be overwhelming, but when it slows down to focus on the relationships between these characters, I thought that stuff was great. But there are a decent amount of like side quests, they almost feel like, in this movie, to where I'm sure they're relevant, but they could have been cut. They're fine scenes for the most part, but a lot of them, if this movie was just a more tight, compact experience, I think it would have worked a lot better. It feels almost just like a collage of a lot of different scenes and moments compared to a more linear narrative structure, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Not all stories have to be linear, but I just think sometimes this one gets a little distracted. At the end of the day, I enjoyed this movie. I think just because the highs of the movie are so good. Brad Pitt is phenomenal. Margot Robbie is phenomenal. Both of them deserve nominations, and the rest of the cast is really good too. I really enjoyed seeing Tobey Maguire for the brief time he's there, but yeah, I thought he had a fun and very different role for him. I'm not even sure if I'd like recommend it. I feel that The people that would want to watch this movie, if you're a fan of Chazelle, if you want to see a really good Margot Robbie performance or a really good Brad Pitt performance, or if you're just really into old school Hollywood, you'll probably like it. Like, I wouldn't recommend it to my parents or anything like that. I'm a big fan of the music and of Hollywood and these performances, so I enjoyed it, but I completely understand if this is not your thing. If you're not on board for just 3 hours of just batshit crazy drugs and nudity and elephants pooping on people, all that crazy stuff, maybe it's not for you. Exploring how a lot of these actors transition from the silent era to the talkies era. Some of them do it way better than others. Some of them just all fall off. And while the movie is very excessive, I think that could be seen as a commentary on excess. A lot of the characters who indulge themselves in that crazy culture, it doesn't necessarily go well for them. And in the end, they find that some of the things that they really wanted are the more simple human relationships and connections. The song Ti Amo Nelly, fire. Justin Horowitz, Damien Chazelle, just certified banger. I'm gonna give this the rating of see it if it interests you. If it looks interesting to you and you want some good music, performances, you like Hollywood, it's probably worth checking out.